This is the homework video for 3-9-17, and make sure that you really understand this because tomorrow you'll have a quiz. And also make sure that if you have a bunch of extra time, think about working on your algebra from OneNote, but you don't have to. Okay, here we go. So this first change from 50 to 75 is 25, from 75 to 125 is 50, from 125 to 200 is 75, from 190 to 200 is 10, from 200 to 220 is 20, and from 220 to 250 is 30. I showed you dividing all three of these because if they didn't all come out the same, then this might not be linear, but the change in y10 divided by 25 is 0.4, and the change of y of 20 divided by the change in x of 50 is 0.4, and the change in y of 30 divided by the change in x of 75 is also 0.4. This is my slope or constant rate of change, so now all I have to do is work backwards. I'm not going to work backwards by ones when it's starting here at 50. Instead, from 50 to 0 is 50, so I subtracted 50 here because the x-intercept is always where, or the y-intercept is always where x is 0. And then I looked over here and I noticed that 10 people, when the change in cost was $10, that was 25 kilometers, and when the change was 20, it was 50. So since I went back 50 here, I went back 50 here to get to 0. I need to go back 20 here to get to where x is 0, and 190 take away 20 is 170. And then that means that the equation is y equals 0.4x plus 170. And the secret message is that in a case like this, you wouldn't usually be counting your counting the cost of every mile, because when you're doing travel, you're usually going way more than 1 mile. You're going 10 miles, 20 miles, 100 miles, something like this. Okay, moving on. The first question is asking you how far you could go if you had 500. And again, in order to know where the 500 goes in the equation, I have to know that the x is the number of kilometers and the y is the cost. And since 500 is a cost, it goes in the y spot. 500 equals 0.4x plus 170. I'm solving that equation for x. Get rid of addition and subtraction first by subtracting 170. I get 330 equals 0.4x. This is multiplication. The opposite of that is division. Divide by 0.4 on both sides, and I have x equals 825 kilometers with $500. The next question is exactly the same, except I changed the cost. I said, what if you spent $205.60? It still goes in the cost place. I'm still subtracting 170 first and then dividing by 0.4 second. And in this case, x equals 89 kilometers. That's it. I already gave you the secret message. Have a great night.